Okay, here we go. This is awesome. Well, a lot of things coming up. Well, folks, it's Admiral Revan here, and it's good to see you. And today I am introducing you a bit of a hot gossip topic going on for World of Warships. So, as you know, there's a lot of changes been going on within the World of Warships community. First and foremost, there has been a lot of changes within the community contributor program that we've been hearing. Also, there's been a lot of hot topics and gossip flying around and regarding to what's happening in 10.0 with the commander skills and everything that's been released. Now, as you know, my thoughts about 10.0 and the last few updates, well, short version is that the franchise is pretty, moving forward. I have to admit that as a person who loves the wargaming franchise and has always been appreciative of what I've been doing, I think that wargaming is moving the game in a different but new direction, which I have reservations about and their decision making. But I believe in moving forward, though, that wargaming is making the right choices here. So this is a bit of an eye opener for me and for you, actually. So we've got a lot of things coming out. So I thought I'd decide to start talking about, a few topics that we may as well start discussing. So this is me talking about 10.0 and beyond. Now, if you're not checking out 10.0 blogs and anything like that, I really recommend you should, because there's a lot of new updates that happened recently. There's a lot of things that I've been, in contact with a lot of people about this. Some of it, I don't know if it's going to be a good thing or bad thing, but I have to admit, there's a lot of discussion floating around, and to be honest with you, I think it's time that we just try and talk it out and see how things go from here on in. I'm Admiral Revan. Twitch.tv Admiral_Revan is my Twitch channel. You also can check me out on Twitter, also Facebook, which is Kakashi Revan. I do tutorial videos and whatnot on there for fun. Also my past broadcasts are on there, and also tutorial videos for the game. I will be doing this on a regular basis as the years are yet to come, because there's a lot of things I want to, promote this World of Warships game franchise. I believe that this franchise is doing well for the last few years, and it still has a lot of variety to choose from. So we'll have to see where we go from here on in. So, welcome, and folks from around the world, for joining in this lovely news. So, the Italian battleships has been released, as you know, and it has been both a good thing and a bad thing. In all seriousness, I just think that the whole concept of the Italian battleships has been pretty much of a good sellout to the franchise, and it has got the community quite involved. Now, there is something that I've been playing around with recently on the PTS with the public test server, which is called the Big Hunt. Now, the Big Hunt is an operation tournament area, like a battle mode of its own, where players around the world will be able to fight against each other and have a fun time, not just killing NPCs like monsters and other warship players, but at the same time that there's cool new objectives that you have to do in there by killing these special fleet that comes out on the battlefield. Also, you're just having fun, really going at PvP mode against each other. So it is a 16-player fight on a very large map, and the polygon with each other is pretty much, you versus against the monsters. And as you kill monsters, you gain XP and you gain abilities, and pretty much from there on in, you get to a situation where you start making a name for yourself on the battlefield. So pretty much you can join a division with your friends. Pretty much you can go play together or begin each other if you want, and have a good time doing it. Now, the battle mode ends when all surviving players exit through the portal. So remember, if you exit through the portal, pretty much in the new mode that's coming out soon, there will be no final battle in the octagon. Okay, so pretty much you just fight it out and duke it out as best you can, and then run to the portal as fast as you can. The battle points for destruction of monsters and other players, participants will be given temporary resources called battle points. Makes sense. If you can, if you can collect a certain amount of battle points, you can enhance your ship in battle, which you gain certain abilities. Like for example, better aim, better health regeneration, speed, firepower, you name it. You'll see the options you'll be given on the top during each battle. In the battle mode, in this battle mode for the big hunt, the Ouroboros ship, which is like a Moskva, right? So basically, this ship that you see right there, the photo there, is a very funny ship to go up against in the middle of the battle fight. I have gone up against it, and I know that defeating it will not be easy. I have to admit that there are times on the ship I was playing at, I had a tendency to survive better with as a battleship player than actually playing as a cruiser or DD. And the thing is that with that battle mode, depending on the positioning, the timing, and everything, it's all on you. But you do gain a lot of battle points if you actually defeat it. So take it into consideration here. It is actually fun to play with. Mind you, when you kill the Ouroboros warship in battle, you feel good about it. So definitely take into consideration. A successful exit point from the polygon brings additional battle points. So you get to see these warship types on the battlefield. I have tried Akazuki, Niyamagi, not sure the Oland, but they all definitely have good mixture of weapons and abilities to attack and defend yourself, so very worthwhile checking them out. So if you're interested just for having fun mucking around in the game, this battle mode, Battle Hunt, when it comes available in 10.0 and 10.2, it's something that you will enjoy. Alright, so pardon me for yawning there, been a long day at work. But the visual improvements have improved in this game. Now, I have to admit that Wargaming has gone all out in improving this game. I don't know about you, but this game has definitely improved over the years. In the last 5 years I have played World of Warships, this game has improved dramatically from when it was pre-alpha test when I first tried it. I have to admit it was a bit chunky at first when the game first came out, but the quality of the game has improved to the point it's so sharp, so clear, so realistic that it feels like that you actually are playing a decent warship on the game, the battlefield. Now, with the graphics engines and also the graphics cards available that we have today around the world, Special thanks go to Nvidia as well as ATI for pushing the graphics technology out there as well. The graphics cards developers as well as the people in Wargaming have worked tirelessly together over the years to improve the look and feel for this franchise, and I have to applaud their efforts. So I salute them for their hard work and keep up the good job, and putting an effort into putting this game on the right track, folks. Wargaming has done a lot over the years, so there's a lot of things that I would like to say that the sharpness of the weapons, the textures of the ships, the landscapes, the waves, there's a lot of things that this game still has a variety of options to come by in the near future. I think for now we just have to be content with what we see right now. Alright, so there's a visual effects video for you to check out if you want to check it out, but definitely it does depend on your hardware and your workstation and your machine at home. If your machine can handle the actual new graphics details. I will admit that, folks, that if you are in a situation where you are unable to play the game in high settings, Wargaming does offer very low to ultra max detail on the game. So it does give you an option to adjust the graphic settings as best you can. Even if you run in recommended settings, just always remember two things. Keep your graphics drivers up to date. Make sure your Windows drivers or the Linux operating system is up to date as well. And also make sure that your hardware has been reasonably upgraded once every 3 years or 5 years. I know that not everyone can afford a brand new video card, RAM, or CPU or anything like that, but if it's something on your to-do list, definitely put on your wish list for something that you want better for yourself in the next 12 months or so. I see this game actually moving forward, pushing hardcore towards high definition quality gaming. It is actually started heading that direction right now, so I would recommend for those who have computers at least 8 years old now, is start looking into investing a better system. So definitely I would recommend it. It looks like the aircraft carrier sights have improved, which is fantastic. It actually looks a lot better. It definitely looks like a very, very big improvement from where I left off. As you see, the reticle in the middle here, it looks actually pretty decent. So definitely, it's worthwhile. Everything's in work in progress, as you can see. And the layout is pretty much the same. Just remember that the map can be enlarged or shrunk, and yeah, take it from there. The cost of battle service and 10.2 for premium and special tier 2 to 7 ships will be reduced. Now, I have to admit, with that going on, that is probably a good impression that I'm going to go with right now. Okay, so just from reading an article and seeing it as it is, I think Wargaming is starting in the right direction for that one now. In terms of the other things like the tier 8s and above that, I don't know. Me personally, I would like to see them being reduced as well to an affordable price, but I don't know if that is the solution. It may sound like it, but it might not be. Let's take into consideration and think about it later. The new content, the Italian battleship containers will be coming out. that look like this. So this is actually pretty decent looking, containers. It looks like watch party is going away soon. Facebook, let's ignore that. Alright, so it looks like that the containers will look like this. That makes sense. Or this one here. So there'll be a permanent eagle camouflage for the Franklin Roosevelt, which is this one here. That looks fantastic. Alright, so it also will be available in the RA for ranked tokens. Interesting. I will check that out at some point. But it looks like the Alabama has its own, so that's actually pretty nice to have and check it out. That's the first blog I just dealt with. Here's the other one I was going to talk about. Axis versus Allies. Now, my friends, this is going to be out in the near future. It's a closed test session at the moment because we don't know if it's actually going to be a success or not. We don't know. So it's been really inspired by real world naval battles. So pretty much when I'm talking about this, they're talking about certain battles around the world that has happened, and there is a possibility, we don't know yet, we left in lurch about this, but we don't know yet if this is going to be a possible aspect of having these special events or special battles around the world that happened recently, like for example naval, the big naval battle over at Leyte Gulf, also the Solomon Islands, Guadalcanal, Coral Sea, Midway, the Philippines, pretty much Iwo Jima and things like that. Towards the end of the war, Second World War, there's a lot of good opportunities there. But then again, let's not discourage that yet, because there also has been a lot of World War One battles as well that has been fought, and was quite epic as well too. But naval battles in general, there has been some great histories, and especially before the World War One and Two events, or in between that. So, there's always has been a lot of history in the past. So we don't know yet what might come out. There's a lot of speculation, but I have to admit that this sounds good. Definitely check this out in the near future, folks. Because this looks like a perfect opportunity for you to check out. There's a lot of good ships listed on there for you to check out on that can be used for this event. But yeah, keep an eye out for this. Alright, so there has been some in-depth discussions about the new ships that's coming out, for like the Z-31, the Gustav Julius Mayaker, Felix Schiltz, and the Elbing. Is all destroyers, all German destroyers here. They all sound very nice and sophisticated at the same time. Also the Tier-9, the ZF-6, which is pretty cool. The Hyuga is Japanese. British Agincourt, and the Vampire 2. Now, the Vampire 2, believe it or not, folks, is considered to be a Commonwealth warship, and I think it's an Australian ship, but it's a Tier 10, so that's yet to be announced, but definitely keep an eye on it. These ships are coming out very soon in the near future. If you do see them in battle, that it's been under control by either a super tester or a developer in wargaming, and maybe a community contributor. But I can't say that out loud yet because we don't know. It's pure speculation. But I'm actually curious about the Vampire too. I have my eyes on it. Not because I'm Australian, it's because that, we do have the Vampire warship here in Australia, so anything's great, for our community and everything. Just by looking at this very carefully, there'll be more changes coming up to the Lepanto, which is a T9 Italian battleship. Also, the German aircraft carrier Max 11. That carrier, in short summary, I can give you, I have gone up against it. It is a Richthofen, okay? It's a Richthofen German carrier, but the planes on it have skip bombs on it, and the rockets on it as well was phenomenal. But the thing is that when I saw a skip bombing attack on the plane, from the plane aircraft to attack a battleship or cruiser, I was on my Montana at the time, and that thing hurts. That's pretty much in a nutshell. That thing does hurt. So, it's not a thing that you can joke around about. The only thing I can say that can counterattack that Max Element is actually if you have your ships, your teammates, closely together with your AA focused on one side and actually destroy and decimate the aircraft. Anyway, there's a lot of opportunities here. So the Lepanto's visual range will be increased to 28.3. Okay. The view range increase for the Cristoforo Colombo is 29.4, and the Gustav will be, they have its hull reduced. Well, that'll be interesting. The ways of distribution, the Marco Polo and Austin, there's a lot of interest in those two ships. The Austin is the new American cruiser that has come in to replace the Summers. The Summers, by the way, will be gone from 10.2, and it is going to be removed when it comes down. So if you don't have the Summers now, you should. And if you don't worry about it. Maybe one day we might see the Summers come back as a black edition or a Christmas crate. So if Wargaming does do this sort of things with the warships, I will not be surprised. I will stress this out though. We have seen it happen to the famous John Bart. Okay? So if they've done it to the John Bart, who says they won't do it to the Massachusetts? And they already have done it to Massachusetts with a black edition. But who says that they won't reintroduce those ships with a different camo? So, if you have missed out the original, that's fair. But I'm hoping that Wargaming will learn a lesson from it though. Because I've noticed that if they give like the original, give the new ship out and they give it a quest for you to do on, and you can't complete it because you need to have the original ship, it actually makes the whole objective and fun of the game redundant. Alright, so let's talk about 10.1. Little backtrack here, but apparently there are some restrictions going on with the clan battles if you didn't know. Clan battles, for the first time in ages, it has been a while since we've seen so many restrictions going on in the franchise, and I will admit 10.1 was a bit of a, came across to me as a bit of a shock actually, because that they banned certain ships like the Mogador for one, the Alaskas, the Musashi and Georgia. So the thing is that when they haven't really banned them, except to ban the Musashi and Georgia. So when they in terms of like Alaska's and Mogador, they restricted them in numbers, no more than one. So it is a bit hard to find that people can't bring a Georgia or Masashi, because I have to admit they're the most powerful warships in the fleet. In rank battles, you may as well ban them from rank battles if you ban them from clan battles, which it doesn't make sense. I mean, like, honestly, this whole thing about banning ships. I know they're trying to balance it out there, but I don't think that's the best way to do it, really. Restricting the numbers of the ships, probably, but banning the ships, maybe not. So, bit of a give or take scenario. Um, in 10.2, there's a lot of new things happening with the changes recently for the Vampire 2, Angercourt, Z31, Felix Shields, Gustav, Julius Merker, and Elbing, Hugo, and Marco Polo. Definitely check them out. The new updates are coming out soon. Also in 10.3, coming out soon, there's a Part 1 event for a German destroyer. For the first time, the German destroyer, the Hamburg Dockyard, is back. So when this thing is coming out, there is a construction you'll be doing for a ZF6 destroyer, German destroyer, for the first time. It's going to be a Tier 9 destroyer, by the way, and it's going to be pretty decent all around to have. There will be a lot of updates coming in from 10.3 to 10.4 and lead up to 10.5. So beware that you have an opportunity to play the ship for a while. You have 22 phases, I should say, in completing this dockyard combat missions. For the completion of the 22nd shipbuilding phase, you'll receive the ZF6 with her war paint. I don't know if that's a war paint, but it looks nice in some ways. I prefer the grass zeppelin, sorry. I'm just saying. And also the Iron Cross camo for the Pomeran, the German carrier, and a few other things. Speaking about that, there has been a bit of a thing being raised initially. That's what the destroyer dockyard looks like, so it looks pretty awesome. Here's the Iron Cross camo. Now, that has been added as a permanent camouflage for the new destroyers. That is actually pretty damn good to hear. So, if you've seen that, what the camo looks like on the Pomeran, the Kurfürst, I think it's the Graf Zeppelin. It was one of the German carriers. Anyway, and you see it happen, that works out well with those ships, then you know that this camo is going to be good and nice on the destroyers. So definitely check them out. 150mm guns. That's pretty decent. That's pretty decent. Yes. The Soviet, camos for the Kirov and the Japanese Lakuya camo for the Battleship Hugo is going to be nice. Okay, pretty cool. It looks like you got an option to get those admirals. Looks like, that's like Admiral Nagumo, maybe. They both look like Japanese. Interesting. who they are. Let's double check if they mention their names. No, they don't. So it's actually interested to know who those admirals are. The port of Kronstadt has been updated, apparently. So it's pretty nice. Looks pretty decent. And the commander interface window has been updated as well. There's also some, information on the new skills and abilities. So it's handy to know. Daily shipments. It's going to be improved. There's a lot of things happening on there outside naval battles. Looks like they removed some hull models for the Mogami, Koenig, Ryuga, Furutaka, Maeko, Izuma, Iowa, Omaha, Alberta, Emil, Alberta, New York, New Mexico, Colorado, North Carolina, Bayonne, Ranger, Minsk, Kiev, Ognovoy, Tashkent, Oduai, and Fletcher. Okay. That's actually happened. I think it has. Recently. Not yet. But look at the Iowa has 3 hulls. This hull C does not improve from hull B. So we'll be curious to see where it goes from here. But it's actually pretty damn decent all around. Alright, getting back to the task at hand. So that's actually pretty good. So the Constellation is coming out in Tier 8 and 10.3, and also the Tier 10 destroyer, called the Druid is coming out as well. And not to mention an Italian Tier 10 cruiser called Napoli, and the Commonwealth Tier 7 battleship Yukon is coming out for testing. So that's actually pretty cool with everything going on. So yes, it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. So this whole situation is actually going to be pretty decent. All the abilities, description about them will be listed on the website, obviously. But yeah, definitely go check them out. Okay, so that's not bad at all. Oh, yes. Sorry about that. Well, apparently, on the forums recently about 10.5. Now, 10.5, without going into too much detail, 10.5 has revealed some news. And I will tell you what that news is. The news is, without saying too much, the news is that there are some warships actually getting removed. Again. Some warships going to be removed again. And I am very disappointed to say what they are, because one of them is my favorite. Actually, 2 of them. So we got the Grass Bay, also the T-61, the Lennon, Asashio, Z-39 Haida, and Nelson, and also the Eric Lowenhardt. The Eric Lowenhardt is actually a carrier, a German aircraft carrier. So that's getting removed soon. So that's actually pretty full on, actually. I'm actually looking for it to see where it is. Yeah, it's a tier 6 carrier. So this is something that, you know, that's getting removed from the game pretty much. So it's all good. Yeah, so this is all happening. It's all happening. Pretty much from that frontier. So definitely get it while you can. Any of these premium warships you should be getting now. So definitely go get them. But you know that's happening in 10.5 apparently. So hard to say. Hard to say. But okay, I won't go into too much detail, folks. But I will say this much. I mean, like, I'll read out to you again what ships are going out. 10.5. So we got the Eric Longhart, which is a German carrier, a British battleship called the Nelson, German destroyer called T-61. Very lovely destroyer, by the way. The Haida is also nice, and it's going away. The Z-39 is also going away. The Sasho. Between you and me, get the Sasho now. It's a lovely T-8 Japanese destroyer. You can't go wrong. It fires torpedoes at least 20 kilometers away. And it's pretty damn decent ship to play. Very good overall. I've seen a lot of good players play it. The Lenin is a Soviet battleship with 3 turrets in the front. Like the Uzmo, Japanese battleship called Uzmo. But yeah, that ship is very good and decent. They may return, but you know, to be honest, that is really cutting the fine line. So definitely get out there, go get it now. Also, Sasho, Apple, Grass Bay, as well. Okay, so I understand why they're removing these ships because they become overpowered, or we have seen a lot of them in the game, but the Nelson being removed had me thinking. But then again, the Nelson had been around for a while in World of Warships, so that could make sense. It could make sense. But then again, understand this, folks. Every time they remove a warship, though, does not mean it's entirely gone forever. It means they're just taken away from the shelf on the armory in the premium store or the tech tree in the game, but they give you the option to get it back through either like the Black Friday containers or Christmas or Christmas or Thanksgiving sort of thing. You know, it's just like one of those things. Just one of those things. Alright, so it's just one of those things, mate. Anyway, mate. Anyway, so pretty much definitely guys check them out. In the short, folks, I mean, like with the new dev blog changes, don't worry. Anyhow, if you have any concerns or issues with it, don't panic, because I will say this much. The information that you see on there is actually pretty decent. I will give you links to these footage in the near future, but for now, stay safe, take care, and we'll see you on the next stream.